In this video, I'm going to share with you a comprehensive guide to biblical Christian dating. From the principles, the guidelines, the timelines, the boundaries, and everything in between. If that is something that interests you, then keep on watching. Hey, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Sanshadi and this is Honey Let's Talk. We talk about relationship here, helping you build a strong and a godly relationship. If that is something that will interest you, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every single time we post new and amazing content. So today we are talking about biblical Christian dating. This is the principles, the guidelines, the rules, and everything in between, including the boundaries, the do's and the don'ts in a Christian relationship. If you're dating a Christian, or you're thinking about dating a Christian, or you're not a Christian, but you are dating a Christian, or you're a Christian and are dating a non-Christian, I'm glad you're here today, and together we can explore this topic. I know sometimes this topic can be a bit confusing and sometimes even frustrating, especially with all the rules, the boundaries, the principle, the guidelines, and everything that is in between that. But today I'm going to share with you a step-by-step guide that can help you and your partner, or you, just advance in this relationship. My goal today is to help you understand what you need to put in place in your relationship so that you can have a successful relationship. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's dive into it. So, Christian dating principle number 1, pursue wholeness. I've had the privilege of working with young couples, and one of the things that I've noticed is that most of them don't take time to work on themselves, and they get into a relationship without working on themselves. This principle of wholeness is one that I've seen that people have really not taken serious, and they have suffered so much pain because of that. Today, I want to share with you some few things about wholeness and how you can pursue wholeness in your own personal life and be able to advance it in your relationship. So before we do anything, let's first define what wholeness is. And we're gonna look at the dictionary first, and then after that, we're going to develop it and look at what the Bible says about wholeness. If you want to succeed in your relationship, then you must seriously consider pursuing wholeness, because this is the greatest and one that is the basic principle of Christian dating. So for some of you, maybe you're asking, so what is wholeness and how do I actually pursue this? Don't worry, I'm going to share that with you right now. So according to the dictionary, they define wholeness as the state of being unbroken and damaged. And we're going to look at some scriptures in the Bible and see what that means. But looking at this definition right here, it gives us a lot to work with. That you need to be at a state where you are unbroken and undamaged. So the question that maybe I might ask you is, are you unbroken? Are you undamaged? Because if you are to get into a relationship and be able to actually advance in that relationship, then you must first be, you as an individual, you must be at this state of being whole. And if you use only the dictionary to define this, then you need to be at a state whereby you are unbroken and undamaged. But let's look at what the scripture says about this. In Psalms 139 verse 14, the psalmist described this state as this: that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that fully. My soul is aware of that. I know that. The psalmist is describing this state of wholeness as being at a state whereby you know that you are wonderfully and fearfully made by God. And it is the works of God that have made it possible for you to be wonderful. And you must be at a state whereby you know for sure, your soul, your spirit, your mind, your body knows that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. If you are still unsure about yourself, then chances are you have not yet come to this place of being whole. Wholeness is a place of being sure about who God has made you to be. And the psalmist is describing it so well that we need to be at a state whereby we know it so well that the works of God's hand have made us to be whole. And if there is something that threatens that, if there is something that you're going through, or if there is something that you are experiencing or you don't like about yourself, then first of all, deal with God. Work out things with God before you get into a relationship. Because if you get into a relationship without being unsure about some things in your life, then you leave that to someone else to affirm you. And sometimes you might not find that in the partner that you get in life. Sometimes you might get a partner that is not actually affirming you. So if you got into the relationship without being sure that God has made you wonderful, then your partner might actually mess up with your own self-esteem. So if you want to be at this state of wholeness, you first need to understand that God has made you fearfully and wonderfully. The works of his hand have molded you into being fearfully and wonderfully. And if there's something in you that you know that it is not of God, if there's something in you that you know that it is a struggle that is not of God, then first deal with that before getting into a relationship. You need to get into a relationship when you are at a state of being whole. So maybe some of you are asking, so how do I do this? I'm glad that you asked. I'm going to give you top 6 tips to pursue wholeness in your life. Tip number 1, deal with baggage. Identify and deal with baggage. There are so many people who get into a relationship with so much baggage that now when you get into the relationship, you are getting to the relationship so heavy that no matter what your partner does, they will never be able to carry you in the relationship. You need to deal with that baggage. You need to deal with your personal, history. You need to deal with your personal things that you have gone through. You need to deal with addiction that maybe you might have way before you get into a relationship. If you want to be in a biblical dating experience, then you must first deal with this baggage. There are so many people that I find and they tell me, you know what, I'm finding someone who will help me, I'll date someone maybe who will help me deal with this baggage. No, it's not supposed to be like that. Remember, it says that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, that it is the works of God, that you cannot leave that to someone else, that it is only God who can help you overcome those things. It is only God who can make you whole, and you need to deal with those baggages. So there's some who have baggages of family. You come in and you have a lot that you have carried from your family. Maybe it's a past experience. Maybe it's a childhood trauma. Maybe it's something that you've experienced in your childhood. Deal with that first before getting into a relationship. Tip number 2, pursue a love relationship with God. If you want to really understand the principle of love, if you really want to discover true love, then you can only find that first in God. There's so many people who are jumping from one relationship to another in search of true love. If you have not yet found the love of God, the true love of God, then it is going to be very hard for you to identify true love in someone else. So first, pursue a relationship with God. And tying this with what we have spoken about baggages, when you start pursuing a relationship with God, God helps you to deal with these baggages. So pursue a relationship with God, a love relationship with God, way before you get into a relationship. Tip number 3, be at peace in your singlehood. There are so many people who think that, hey, when I get someone, I'll be happy. No, if you're not happy, if you're not at peace as a single person, it's going to be very hard for you to be at peace when you get someone. You need to be at peace. And when you start pursuing that being at peace, you start becoming whole. When you say that we are whole, we are undamaged, we are unbroken, we are at a place where God has molded us back into who God desires us to be, is that God placed in you peace. As alone as you are, you will be at peace if you pursue wholeness. Wholeness is what makes you be at peace with your singlehood. Don't put your life on hold, waiting to get someone for you to be at peace. Be at peace when you are alone. And tip number 4 is very important. Avoid emotional entanglement. I've seen this with many couples. You say that you're single, as an individual person, then you are in so many entanglement emotionally. When you say that you are single or you're dating someone, you need to cut any other entanglement that you have with anyone else, because those things will mess you up. You need, if you are single, be completely single. Not just physically single, but even emotionally single. Release yourself from emotional entanglement. If you want to pursue wholeness, then this is key if you desire to do that. You cannot pursue wholeness if you are entangled with 5, 6, 10 people in your circle. You need to avoid it and release yourself from that. And tip number 5, pray for deliverance. I know this is a little bit a stretch, but there's some things that you'll not be able to overcome alone. Maybe it's an addiction, maybe it's pornography, masturbation, or maybe it's a relationship, a breakup that went bad 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and you're still going through or you're still struggling with this. It's time to pray for deliverance. And you can sit down and ask God to deliver you from those bondages. Because it's a bondage, it's a prison that you need to get out of it. And if you want to be whole, then you must be free from those past pains or past struggles or past habits or past addiction or even current or present addiction that you're having right now. You need to pray and ask God to deliver you from those things if you want to be whole. And tip number 6 is this: don't wait to be in a relationship to be happy. Be happy. Generate your own happiness way before you get into a relationship. And when you get into a relationship, let the person who you find add to the happiness that you already have. There are so many people that I see that they are, I want a relationship so that I'll be happy. No, you need to generate your own happiness way before you get into a relationship. So that when you get someone, they're only adding to what you already have. You cannot leave that responsibility to your partner to make you happy. It's going to be frustrating, not only for you, but also for them, because they have no idea how to fully make you happy. You have an idea of how to make yourself happy. So you need to come and generate your own happiness. And for those who are already dating, you need to do this. You need to generate your own happiness. You need to do things that are making you happy. You need to, front this thing even to your partner so that you can be happy, and your partner will only come to add into the happiness that you already have. And together now, you can live a happy ever after. And tip number 7, which is the last one, is this: be patient and wait on God. There are so many people in a relationship right now, not because God wanted them to be in those relationships, because they were impatient and they jumped into the next person they saw in their lives. You need to be patient. You need to wait on God. Remember what we talked about wholeness, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that the works of God, the works of God's hand have been made, making you and molding you. You need to be patient for God to mold you. You need to be patient for God to make you, so that when you get into a relationship, you will be fully whole and you'll be able to give the person that will be your partner 100% of yourself. And there's so many people who are being impatient. Don't be in a hurry to get into a relationship. If you're single right now, don't be in a hurry to get into a relationship. Be patient. Be patient and wait on God, because God knows what's best for you, because He is omniscient. And what that means is He knows what is ahead. He knows what is tomorrow. So be patient and walk with Him patiently, because He is going to make you the best person that you will ever be, so that you can find the best person that you can ever find in your life. So be patient and wait on God. Don't rush into a relationship that God has not led you into it. By working on wholeness and pursuing God in your life, then you're ready for the next phase of this principle. So that is principle number 2, which is coming up on the next video. Check it out here. Thank you guys for joining me today on this video. I am glad that I can serve you, and it's an honor to actually being here to serve you today. This is the reason why we started this channel, so that we can advance the mission of God by helping couples become godly and have godly relationship. If you desire to join us on this mission, suggest that you consider subscribing to this channel, but also like this video. Hit that like right now. Just hit that like, because it helps us reach other couples just like you. Otherwise, guys, see you in the next video. Bye bye.